Let's be honest. A lot of us started doing inner child work, not just because we wanted to heal, but because we wanted to get them back. You journaled your pain, cried through meditations, said affirmations to your younger self, thinking, if I could just fix what's broken inside of me, maybe they'll finally feel it and come home. But what if your healing was never meant to call them back? It was meant to call you back. And in this episode is going to definitely be for the ones who are tired of turning healing into another way to chase love. Welcome back to the Divine's Finest podcast. This is episode 56. Inner child work to get them back is actually the missing piece. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And also just a little disclaimer, guys. These episodes that I'm doing, they are based on not just only my experience, but research and videos and, other things like that I have seen personally speaking on YouTube, TikTok, a lot of social media platforms. So I'm just sharing my experience and things of that nature, okay? So when I first started doing inner child work, I was deep in my manifesting era. I remember sitting there, hand on my heart, whispering to little me, you are safe now, hoping that he'd feel that shift. I thought that maybe if I healed my abandonment wound, that he'd stop abandoning me, right? I thought if I loved myself more, he'd love me differently. But what I didn't realize is that I was using healing as another performance, another way to earn love instead of embodying it. And it took me losing that fantasy to finally understand what inner work is actually for. And here's another thing I wanted to mention to you guys is that not only this, but like when I was taking a lot of those law of assumption courses to try to get my, manifest my specific person back or change the situation, a lot of what I was missing was actually nervous system regulation. And, and the fact that I kept putting so much blame on myself. I didn't know how to calm myself down when I was spiraling. I wouldn't even realize when I was checking the 3D, all these things, right? And I always thought that, maybe if I just changed my subconscious dominant fears, then, he would come back. But that wasn't even the case. I wasn't even getting any movement at all. So that's another thing I wanted to mention, and some of you guys might resonate with that. But here's what the LOA community doesn't tell you. Is that when you're healing for an outcome, you're not healing, you're actually bargaining. You're telling your inner child, if I fix you, maybe he'll stay. But that's not actually love. That's conditional safety. And the universe doesn't reward manipulation masked as healing. I bet you a lot of you guys didn't know that, did you? Because real healing doesn't get you love. It actually teaches you what love actually feels like. Your inner child doesn't care about your specific person. She cares about you showing up when no one else does. She wants to know, will you still choose me even if he never texts you back? And this is really important, you guys, because a lot of the LOA teachers out there don't tell you these things, okay? And, a lot of these things I personally didn't realize until I started, healing my attachment style. And that's why I keep preaching about it, because there's a lot of things you don't realize until you actually start really doing the real work on yourself. So you don't heal your inner child to attract someone back. You do it to stop betraying yourself for someone who left. When you hold that wounded part of you during a trigger and say, you're safe, I'm not abandoning you this time, that's actually when the shift actually really happens. And that's when you start building a new baseline of safety. One where you no longer mistake inconsistency for chemistry or chaos for connection. It's not that healing makes you vibrate higher. It's that it stops you from vibing with people who only understand survival. So, how do you reparent instead of perform? So here's a few steps of how you can do this. So step 1 would be, I want you to take notice of your trigger. When you want to text them or check their story, I want you to pause. That's your inner child saying that you're scared, okay? Number 2, you need to comfort her. Literally out loud, you can say, I know that I miss them, but I'm not going to die without them. I'm here. Number 3, you're going to redirect your energy. Do something nurturing, such as journal, stretch, go outside, breathe into your belly. You're teaching your body that love doesn't require chasing. And once you do that long enough, like I did, you'll look back one day and say that you didn't lose them. You realize the version of you that thought love was earned through pain. And I know this is hard, you guys, when you start doing this type of work, okay? Like you know, you're going to have moments where you feel like you need this person and you want to have the urge to talk to them, this, that, and the third. But the more that you do this, I promise you'll start feeling more relief. And, you know, you won't really care much about what this person is doing every 5 minutes, for example. You'll stop spiraling. You'll actually start to feel that relief, okay? You just got to take it day by day. You got to be patient with yourself, okay? Because this stuff, you know, when you do the real actual nervous system regulating or regulation, you know, it's going to get easier, okay? Because that's how I was able to heal my attachment style so quickly within about 4 months, okay? So your inner child isn't waiting for your specific person to return. She's waiting for you to return. And so when you finally do, that's when everything shifts. Not because they come back, but because you do. And if you're ready to go deeper into this work, to learn how to regulate your emotions, set boundaries, and finally stop performing for love, that's why I created my 28-day Decentering Men journal, where I walk you through step by step for 28 whole days. I know that's a long time, but I'm telling you, it's going to pay off. And it's the same process that helped me stop chasing love that actually did hurt me. And I have that link to my journal in the description box below. And I want you to heal for yourself and not for them, okay? Because here's the truth of it all, you guys. Like, why, you know, you have to ask yourself, like, what is this person doing for you? Are they taking any actions to try to save this relationship with you? And that's, you know, and that's the thing we got to look at. What are they currently doing, if they're doing anything at all? Because if they're not even trying to fight for this connection, then why even stay in it? Why even be still energetically attached to it, you know, or whatever the case may be, whether it's emotionally or physically, whether you're talking to the person or not, okay? And don't even worry about, you know, thinking that they're going to meet someone else and all this other stuff. Yeah, they might, you know, that sort of thing. But here's the thing a lot of you guys don't realize is that the grass is not always greener on the other side. Okay, they don't treat the other person any better than you. It always turns out to be the same. So don't be deceived by, you know, social media or anything like that. So I know it's a little bit of a side note and a little bit of my 2 cents, but it's so true. Okay. So with that being said, you guys, I'll leave it here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll speak to you guys in the next podcast episode.